All right, guys. So, welcome to today's lesson. Today, we are going to be looking at website development technologies. Before we delve deeper into that, let me just give a quick recap of what we did yesterday. So, yesterday, we proceeded to look at the types of websites based on their functionality. And then we saw that we have the news or the blog, we have the e-commerce websites, we have the classified ad websites, we have the directories, the forum, and then a few other ones. From there, we proceeded and looked at how websites work. We come to realize that um, when when a URL or domain is punched, the domain is first of all sent to a DNS resolver, which translates to the IP address. Now, with that IP address, it traces the server where the files are saved and then fetches the web page and then sent the web page is now sent back to the browser to be displayed for the user. So that was what we looked at yesterday. Today's lesson we are going to look at website development technologies or the methods that are available for creating websites. How do we get to have websites work? What forms are we able to create websites and have them to work? So we are going to look at them. So basically, web development technologies, they are the programming languages and the tools that we use to create websites or to produce dynamic and fully featured websites and web applications. You get it? So the basic of all of them all is what? Is HTML and then CSS. The basic of them all is HTML because before you to be able to have a website work, you need to have an HTML. And HTML is a markup language which is used for displaying components or for displaying items in a browser. And then we have the next one, which is what? The CSS, which is a cascading style sheet. It helps to style, to add color, or let's say for the styling, when it comes to the styling of your website, so the shapes, your color, whatever comes with styling, we use CSS to build it. And these two always move together. The next one is what? Is JavaScript. So JavaScript is a programming language. JavaScript is a programming language which helps to control the user interactivity on the website. Let's look at the three. These are the three basic things. We have the HTML, which is what the skeletal structure of the website. We have CSS, which adds style, and then the JavaScript, which controls user interactivity on the website. We have Node over here or Node.js. Node.js and then React over here are JavaScript libraries. They are derivatives of what? Of JavaScript. So this Node here and then React. We have other ones. We have Vue and a few other ones. So they are all under they are all derived from JavaScript or they are built. They are used based on JavaScript. Then we have the other one over here, which is what? PHP. PHP is a server-side scripting language. It's a server-side scripting language. Means it helps to write data toward the server or the database, and then to fetch data from the server or database. For example, when you open a portal, maybe Facebook or any other portal, and then you type your name, and then you save it. The moment you save it, whatever you've written there is fetched into the database and stored over there. When you come back and you want to go and view what you've saved, you just go back there and you have it showing for you. And so it is PHP that does that. It fetches whatever you have put into the to the database or the server and stores it there. When you need it, it fetches it back for you. So it's like a link between the user and then what and the server. Basically, that is how it works. So here, the next thing we are going to look at right now is what PHP framework. So our focus is going to be a little bit shifted to PHP. That's not the main thing. And all this that we have talked about so far, you probably may not be needing it, but I feel like it's best to let you have a wider range or a broader idea on the industry, so that when we are diving into one part of it, you wouldn't feel like that is the only option that is available on the market. There are so many other options that we can use. And so when we look at PHP frameworks, we say they just like we have earlier, we have Node and then React, which I mentioned that they are JavaScript libraries, or they are built based, they are derived from JavaScript. The same way we have other platforms which are used for creating websites and web apps, which are also based on what the PHP framework, or they are centered on PHP. One of them is what the Yi framework, and then one of them is what we have the Kick PHP, we have the Code Igniter, and then we have Drupal, we have Laravel, we have WordPress, we have other ones of them, but I just want to list a few of them over here. So, so basically, these are the website development technologies that are available. So the very next thing we are going to be looking at over here is what? Domain and hosting. We're going to be looking at domain and hosting. And for any website to exist on the internet, you need two basic things. You need these two things to be able to have a website up and running on the internet. So first of all, we are going to be looking at domain. Now you want to ask, what is a domain? So what? A domain is what? A name or a unique name of an organization or a person or an institution, or let's say of the website. Are you getting it? When you want to give your website or your institution an identification on the internet, we use the domain to represent them. And when you're choosing a domain, it has two main components. We have the name of the domain, and then we have the domain name extension, or they also call it the top level domain. Our domain is octaskills.com. The .com over there is combined with the octaskills to form out the main domain. So we have the domain name, or the name of the institution, then we have the what? The domain name extension, or the top level domain. Then we have the DNS system, or the domain name system. It is the server or the system that keeps the IP addresses and their corresponding domain names. If you can remember yesterday, we look at how websites work. So when you punch it in there, the DNS server resolves the domain name into the IP address, which it then looks for the hosting server of your website. So the DNS system, the DNS system is what does that, and it makes it possible for you to not keep IP addresses, lots of them in your mind, just like you can keep lots of telephone numbers in your mind, but you can keep the names. And so we have the DNS server serving like a phone book for you. So basically, this is the diagram of how the DNS system works. When you punch the outer skills, it has to go request for the IP address first, and the IP address is what is used to locate the hosting server. When the page is found, it is then displayed for the user. So next, we are going to be looking at domain name extensions. So just as we stated earlier, they are the last part of a domain name. Just as in Philosoph GH, we have .com being the top level domain or the domain name extension. And then examples of them are .com, we have .org, we have .net, we have .edu. And then .com is meant for commercial firms, or let's say commercial organizations, people who are engaging in trade or commerce. And they have come to be the most common domain name extension as of today. We also have the .org, which is specifically meant for non-profits, or let's say NGOs. And then we also have the .net, which is meant for networks, maybe a network of companies. And then we have the .edu, which is for educational websites. You get it. And then we also have the .com.gh, .org.gh, and the others over there. Now they are serving the same purpose, but they are for institutions that are based in Ghana, and all other countries also have their extension. So you can have something like .com.ng, and even with Nigeria, I think we have .ng domain. We have different. You have .com.uk, and then it applies to other domains. And then some other domains that are also becoming quite common recently is the .app, .mobi, .io, .online. So when choosing a domain name, when you are going to choose a domain name, first of all, you have to make sure that what you are choosing the right domain name for the institution. Next thing we are going to look at over here is what? It's a subdomain. And a subdomain is basically an add-on to a primary domain. So if we have a domain like philosophy.gh.com, which is a domain for Philosophy services, and then later you find out that there is something that as let's say Philosophy GH also run they run a bulk SMS platform which is accessible via the internet. Now they wouldn't have to go and get a new domain, which they can, but to keep things simple and not spending an extra to get their SMS service online, they can choose to go with what, a subdomain. So when you visit sms.philosophy.gh.com, you would be able to access their SMS platform. So they are just used to create additional departments of the same parent entity. Something like we have a drive.google.com. So we have the normal Google company over there, and they have other services that they run aside their basic search engine, which becomes a daily stop point for inquiries, which we have as internet users. The Google also have other Google has other services which they still offer, like their mail system, which we refer to as Gmail. You can access it via mail.google.com. They also have their cloud storage, which you can access it via drive.google.com. So basically, that is the purpose of a subdomain. You have a company and then you have a sub branch. You don't want to give it a new identity on its own. You just bring it under the parent company, and that is how domains work. It's just like a subsidiary business that we have right now. It's just like a subsidiary business, a business that is registered under another business.